We have yet another problem with Boeing airplanes. This time, a random panel fell off on a flight from San Francisco to Medford, Oregon. Let's talk about it. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about yet another problem involving Boeing airplanes. Now, this is the latest in the string of incidents. There was the infamous door plug kerfuffle that happened. That was really scary. Then there was a tire that fell off the landing gear after takeoff. Then there was a fire somewhere on the aircraft. There have been quite a few incidents involving Boeing airplanes. Now, I don't know if we're getting a bunch of publicity because of the whole door plug incident and these kind of things normally happen. I don't really know, but there's yet another one. During a flight from San Francisco, California to Medford, Oregon, a short flight, an early landing, a panel fell off the aircraft and they don't know how or when it happened. All they do know, as I put it on the screen, all they do know is that they inspected the aircraft before it took off and the panel was there. I presume everything was honky-dory, no problems. When the plane landed, they discovered this big panel had flown off. Now, I'm not an aviation expert. I'm not an expert on airplanes. I don't know exactly what I'm looking at. I know it's damaged, I know that much, but I'm not quite sure if the machinery here absolutely needs a panel over it. If you guys know more about that, let me know in the comments. What I do know, just from a novice perspective, is that I shouldn't be looking at stuff like this, okay? If I'm getting on the airplane and I see that going on, I probably don't want to get on it, and I probably would not be allowed to board. Now, there's a lot I want to say here, because this incident happened right around the same time where a whistleblower was going to come forward and say a lot, but miraculously, mysteriously, he wound up deceased. They say he took his own life, but it seems kind of suspicious to me. Now, before we get into the whistleblower and his untimely death, let's get into the news clip about the most recent incident. If you want to see the clip in full without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio, go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Our top story, the list just got longer. United Airlines under scrutiny tonight after a string of mechanical problems involving their Boeing 737 planes.
I forgot about that one right there at the bottom left. I think the plane had skidded off the runway. I'm not exactly sure what happened right there. If you guys know how the wing of the aircraft is touching the grass, y'all let me know in the comments.
The latest happening today when a piece of a plane apparently fell off somewhere between SFO and its destination in Oregon. This is the 7th issue with a United jet in just the past few weeks.
Yeah, NBC Bay Area's Tom Jensen is at SFO breaking down what may have gone wrong.
We have to make it clear that this is an older Boeing 737-800, about 25 years old.
That's right. It is an older aircraft. So, okay, if the aircraft had been around for this long and it probably didn't have any problems like a panel flying off mid-flight, my question would be, what's up with the maintenance? Do we have maintenance issues? Because Boeing, there's a problem with quality control with new aircraft because the whole door plug kerfuffle was a brand new plane. It had just been delivered to the airport from which it was flying. But on the older aircraft, do we have maintenance, upkeep issues? Let's keep on going.
One of the newer Boeing 737 Maxes that's being investigated for multiple issues. But this is yet another United flight with mechanical problems that may be linked to maintenance issues.
Yeah.
United Airlines officials say the Boeing 737-800 landed safely this afternoon in Medford, Oregon. Pilots noticed it first during a post-flight inspection, as seen in this photo that reportedly shows the aircraft missing a piece after it landed. Airport officials say the flight tower immediately closed flight operations while maintenance crews swept the runways to make sure they were clear.
We didn't find any debris or any panels or anything. So it was reopened and everybody landed and operations continue normally.
There's been a string of mechanical problems with United planes over the past 2 weeks. Thursday, a flight from Dallas experienced a hydraulic leak just before landing at SFO. Earlier this week on Monday, a flight headed to SFO from Australia had to turn around mid-flight after fluid was seen spewing out of the right rear landing gear.
And you don't want to have that on the overseas flight going to Australia. That's a very far way away over a very big ocean, the Pacific. So that's going to be a really big problem. You don't want to experience that kind of issue over just straight water like that.
And this flight last week made headlines around the world when a Japan-bound United airplane lost a wheel after takeoff at SFO.
Did you guys see that? Look, they showed the wheel coming off. Watch closely, center of the screen.
Bound United airplane.
Okay, watch right here.
Lost a wheel after takeoff at SFO.
That's crazy.
That wheel crashing onto cars in a parking lot below. And then today, this happened.
It keeps coming back to San Francisco, and that's my concern. This is a major maintenance base and a major hub for United, and the issues continue to be San Francisco-centric.
Another aviation expert tells NBC Bay Area the large metal pieces are removed during maintenance on the 737's engines, and then they're supposed to be tightly screwed back into place before undergoing a final inspection to make sure they're reattached securely. And Mike McCarran says they are all areas for immediate concern for investigators.
So obviously, if you keep having issues that center in the same place, you need to investigate that place and figure out what's going on. Quality control is obviously an issue, not just with new manufacturing of these planes, but with the maintenance. You got to have both. If you have poor maintenance, it doesn't really matter how well the aircraft was manufactured. If the maintenance is poor, you're going to have some problems. And the same thing, if you have obviously poor manufacturing, you'll have problems.
What they're going to do is look back when that engine was last serviced and then see who did it and who inspected the work after it was done.
McCarran says United does much of its maintenance work at SFO, where it employs 3,500 technicians, but some U.S. airlines have turned to outsourcing work, something else for investigators to look into.
More and more of the routine, either monthly or semi-annual inspections are being outsourced to third parties, and some of these are out of the country and probably have less oversight than they would here in the United States.
For now, United says this 737 in today's incident remains grounded while it makes repairs and investigates what went wrong before returning it to service.
So there we go. I think we have identified maybe the core of the problem, the maintenance being outsourced to different countries. Do we have any kind of oversight into what happens there? I mean, it should be. Maybe it's a cost-cutting measure. I mean, look, I understand you want to make money. Okay, I'm not a hater, but at a certain point, let's not sacrifice safety. Let's not sacrifice the actual aircraft's integrity because you want to save some money. At the end of the day, you're going to wind up spending more money from lawsuits and things of this nature. But let's keep on going here. We have another video. This is a whistleblower. Okay, John Barnett, RIP to him. He is he was a former Boeing employee and a whistleblower, talking about the company had some issues with safety and whatnot, and he wound up dead. They say he took his own life, but I'm not quite sure about that.
I know that he did not commit suicide. There's no way.
First tonight, our investigative reporter Ann Emerson has new information in the death of Boeing whistleblower John Barnett. A close family friend of Barnett says he predicted he might wind up dead, that a story could surface that he killed himself, but he told her, don't believe it. And
now, here's the thing about it. That can go two different ways. He could have been legitimately fearing for his life. To speak out against a company, a corporation like this can be very dangerous. Or maybe he had those kind of allegations already in him, and then he figured, he might succumb to his own mind. It can go either way, in my opinion. I want to put it out there to be fair.
Tessa, Barnett's family friend Jennifer said they had talked about this exact scenario playing out, but his words seemed like a premonition. He told her, don't ever believe it.
I knew John because his mom and my mom are best friends. And so over the years, get-togethers, birthdays, celebrations, and, whatnot, we've all got together and talked, and, that's how we really know each other.
And when Jennifer needed help one day, Barnett came by to see her. They talked about his upcoming depositions in Charleston. Jennifer knew he filed an extremely damaging complaint against Boeing. He says the aerospace giant retaliated against him when he blew the whistle on unsafe practices. For more than 30 years, Barnett was a quality manager. He'd recently retired and moved back to look after his mom in Louisiana.
He wasn't concerned about safety because I asked him, I said, aren't you scared? And he said, and his voice and the way he would talk, no, I ain't scared. He said, but if anything happens to me, it's not suicide. You know, I know that he did not commit suicide. There's no way. He loved life too much. He loved his family too much. He loved his brothers too much to put them through what they're going through right now.
And he basically told you not to believe it.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Not true. He's got too much to do, likes breathing.
So there's more to that, but you get the general idea. Okay, he's a whistleblower talking about there's problems with Boeing and the safety and the quality control, and then he winds up not being here anymore. So you got to ask yourself the question, did he take his own life? Was he taken out by somebody else? I don't really know. It just seems kind of fishy to me, especially since there's been so many public problems with the actual airplanes over at Boeing. You know, you got DEI and stuff like that. You got outsourcing to different countries trying to save money. There's problems there. But as I close, I want to say this. I think there's some issues, obviously, that need to get addressed with maintenance of the aircraft and also with the manufacturing. You got brand new airplanes that are having serious problems. The door plug incident was a brand new plane. Then you have an old planes like this one that are having random panels just fly off, wheels fly off, fires and things of this nature. At a certain point, we got to just say, all right, let's pump the brakes and figure out what's going on and solve it before a really catastrophic event takes place. And I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? What's your take on what's going on here? Do you think that there's an issue with quality control, with the manufacturing? How about John Barnett? Do you think he took his own life? Do you think he was hurt? Do you think he was silenced permanently for blowing the whistle on the aforementioned issues about Boeing and the aircrafts? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. There's obviously problems here, and they got to really tighten up and get it together because, again, there could be something catastrophic. So far, we've just had some, I guess you would say, cosmetic issues, panels flying off, nobody being injured. All it takes is one situation like what happened over with the Boeing, the MAX 8s back a few years ago, where you got crashes, you know, one crash, two crash, hundreds of souls gone. That's going to be a problem. Let's hope and pray we don't get there, and let's do some proactive measures to make sure that it didn't get to that point. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.